I'm coming to you live from Dublin and still working on that Irish accent. Yikes. Anyway, hi everyone, it's Sonia. I am in fact in Ireland. My husband is here filming Men Who Built America 2. So are here in this beautiful city of Dublin. And I wanted to come and talk to you about uncertainty. Something there is a lot of these days. A couple of weeks ago, I posted on Facebook a quote by Tony Robbins that I really love, and that is, "The quality of your life is in direct proportion to the amount of uncertainty that you can handle." And I think that is so, so true. Truly, life does begin on the other end of your comfort zone. But sometimes getting out there ignites that feeling of unknown and uncertainty. And obviously, in this day and age, everywhere you look is just crowded with uncertainty. A pandemic, fires, social injustice, a crazy election, schools, if you have kids, online school, not online school. Am I working from home? Am I not working from home? It's endless. And it's certainly igniting a lot of anxiety. But it's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you about it, because it's so key to really watch the process of what happens when you feel uncertain, so that you don't wire your brain for anxiety. There was a great article in the Washington Post the other day that was talking just about that. And what happens is when you have uncertainty, it ignites the unknown, right? And for some reason, human beings tend to lean on the side of, oh my goodness, I'm, on the cusp of pending doom, as opposed to possibility. It's really a 50-50 shot. But when it's uncertain, we tend to gravitate towards darker doom thoughts, or many of us are. We're programmed. And what happens is that ignites an anxiety, an emotion, a fear, of stress. And that becomes wired into our brain. It's almost like a pathway in the forest. It gets tramped down so everybody knows that's the path to go through it. That's the one with all the markers. So whenever you have uncertainty, you automatically go to that stress path. But we don't want that wired into our brain. We would rather take the path less traveled right now and make that the one of possibility, of calm, of what do I have in control over. That is a better pathway, because that will lead us to a place where we're able to handle more uncertainty and we're not wiring in anxiety into our system. We're wiring down a new neural pathway. It's part of what I inspired Motosize. Exercise actually releases this protein that creates new neural pathways. It's the process of neurogenesis. And we want to make sure that during this uncertain period, we're not wiring anxiety into our bodies, into our nervous system, into our brains. Because part of what happens then is just general things that may not normally have created anxiety will end up going down that neural pathway, and you might find yourself being more anxious about things that you're not generally anxious about. I had an interesting experience. I was seeing, we went to see these cliffs here that are stunning and beautiful and really, really high. And we were fine. We weren't in any danger at all, but I had all of this anxiety in my stomach, all of these fear of heights that I used to have as a kid just came back in full steam. And I noticed that I think it's because, for me, I've also been more prone to feel a little uncertain and a little more anxiety around uncertainty. I've been a little more primed for it lately, and it did start to wear off in my everyday life. And so I thought, this has to change. We have to start to shift gears. So how can we shift gears so that we're not wiring uncertainty, anxiety into our systems? And part of it is, number one, noticing it. What's happening? When you're noticing you're feeling uncertain, which probably happens on a regular basis these days. Just be aware of it. Then you can take a deep breath, and you could do all of the breathing exercises or any of the things that you might do to de-stress, or you could even go the opposite direction of celebrate it. What if you actually got excited about it? An interesting phenomenon. Anxiety and excitement show up very similarly in your body, but it's a mindset change, and so the impact on your system is different. So if you get excited about it, like, oh, this is new, I don't know what's going to happen, but wow, there's all sorts of possibilities here that I might not ever have found if I hadn't have been in this situation. And if you look back even over this period of time, there might have been one or two things that came up for you that have been positive, that had you not been forced to slow down or look at life in a different perspective, might not have happened. So how can we shift our brains into even excitement or curiosity or possibility, as opposed to gloom, doom, stress, anxiety, oh my goodness, this is a disaster, or a pending disaster. That's really what it is. It's the fear of possible bad things. And so we want to get more into, let's step into, you got a 50-50 shot here, so you may as well step into what's possible. The other thing is to take note of, what do you have control over? Often when we're in uncertainty, we feel as if we're completely out of control. That's what leads us to that feeling of stress and anxiety. If this, I have no control over anything in my life. And I would offer to you that's not true. It might feel that way, but there is something that you do have control over. And we want to take note of that. We want to take a look at what is it that you do have control over. Even if it's just your mindset, you do have control over what you do with your mind. Maybe not what happens on the outside, but you do have control over how you feel or what you do about it. So start there, and how might you shift your thoughts into, well, what could I do here? What's possible in this? Asking better questions, and not focusing on the stress, but focusing on the openings. The where could you go? What can you do in this particular situation? So that's a great way to start to shift your mindset and take a look at, what do you have control over? You have control over your schedule. You have control over the people around you. You have control over what you read, what you look at, what you think about. There's actually quite a number of things that you have control over. And so how can you shift and start to break it down, take a look at what you do have control over, and then from that place, take action into whatever might feel a little more uncertain. And as always, stepping into a place of gratitude for what you do have, taking a look at what you have as opposed to what you don't have in situations of uncertainty is also very reassuring. And of course, my little motor-sized pitch, you can add exercise to all of this, and that will help you out, because it will also ignite a state in your body. You're going to have all these endorphins and good feelings, and you're going to have this protein release that can help you rewire your pathway. So if you do some of these questions, some of these gratitudes, some of the what do you have control over, when you take a look at it from that perspective, even getting excited when you're moving will help rewire the pathway towards possibility instead of anxiety. So on that note, enjoy your uncertainty. Find something good about it. Don't fret it, celebrate it, so that you can wire your brain for what you want, as opposed to making anxiety and stress your go-to place. On that note, have a great day, great week, and shine.